What's going on, everyone? It's Nick, and I'm here for some hoops talk, as you can see in the title, because I haven't done any hoops talk in a while. It's been about a week. It's been mostly baseball and football on this channel for the last week, so I'm here to come with some hoops talk. So before we begin, please remember to like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit the notification bell. And before we get any further, cue the intro. Now, one thing I gotta address. Kyrie, what the hell are you doing? We're still in a pandemic, and this is what you're doing when you decided to not let your team know why you weren't gonna be with the team, and then you're partying in Toronto with Drake, and happy birthday to your sister, but bro, the situation's only getting worse right now with the pandemic. The Celtics are having a tough situation because Jason Tatum's had to be quarantined. The Sixers have had their situation with Seth Curry. The Pelicans and Mavericks game had to be postponed, and numerous other games. Come on, you know better than that, or you should know better than that. Look, I'm all for having fun, okay? I'm an extrovert myself, and it kills me to not be able to have fun like I used to before the pandemic. But the circumstances just are what they are. And you signed up to play in the NBA. Please, just follow the rules and not ruin it for the rest of us, please. We want to watch NBA basketball. I'm sure other players who actually are following the rules want to play. So please, just don't be a fool and just follow the rules. Please. As for how the NBA should go about this, how about just not letting any fans in their arena, even if it's not a packed house? How about 0 fans, period? I know it's not preferable, but you have no choice at this point. And I understand, in the MLB playoffs and also during the NFL season, there have been limited crowds at the games. But you know what the difference is? Those games are outside. They have open stadiums. In a closed arena, the virus is much more likely to spread. So please, just let's have 0 fans for now until it's safe to have fans back at the arenas. Most teams are having no fans at their games. How about all 30 teams have no fans at their game, not just most, okay? But for the players themselves, first James Harden before the season started, around the time of training camp, now Kyrie. Guys, just please don't be stupid. I understand why they would go with the bubble, which worked so well for the last 8 regular season games and throughout the playoffs. But the problem with that, though, is that getting all 30 teams in one bubble, and also the mental aspect of that, because the bubble was just for 3 months, but then to have it for a much longer period of time, for 72 games plus the playoffs, I can understand why they wouldn't want to do that, because that's just really mentally exhausting for the players to just be stuck in a hotel room when they're not playing basketball. Because at the end of the day, these guys are humans too, and they deserve to be able to at least be human, but also they shouldn't be partying during a pandemic. And I understand if you need to take a mental break. We all need those sometimes. But to party during a pandemic when you were specifically told not to, and to leave the team to be doing that in Toronto, that's inexcusable. I believe there's going to be a meeting by the time I wake up in Japan, and they're going to decide how to go from here. I really hope the season doesn't have to get shut down, but if it does, well, it's nothing in my control, but I'll be really disappointed. I will expect the season to continue if it has to get shut down temporarily, but still, I'd rather just let the season flow continuously without any interruptions. And I think that most people would too. So guys, please, stay safe, okay? And everyone else who's watching this, in case there's anyone out there who's still being irresponsible and ignorant enough to not wear a mask when you're going out in public, please wear a mask, okay? And please sanitize. Alright, so that's enough for the rant. Now let's talk some hoops. So I'm going to start with the Hornets and Knicks. And as you saw in my last basketball video, the Knicks are my second favorite team. So I talked about them while they were doing really well and going far beyond anyone's expectations. But it looks like they're coming back down to earth. That was fun while it lasted. Gordon Hayward, though, he's doing what the Celtics signed him to be right now. He scored 44 a couple games ago, and he dropped 30 in this game. We'll see how he continues to hold up. Maybe he wasn't such an overpay for the Hornets. This is what the Celtics were hoping they would get out of Gordon Hayward, but then unfortunately that really gruesome injury. But good for him that he's been able to come back from that. And as for LaMelo Ball, he did only shoot 3 for 13, but even when he's not shooting well, he does everything else so well. And I think the last game he became the youngest player to ever have a triple-double. This kid has such a great feel for the game, and he's got so much more confidence than Lonzo does, and that's what's making him so special. Well, that's part of what's making him so special, and also just the fact that he has such a good feel for the game. And I had LaMelo Ball winning Rookie of the Year, but right now, it actually might be Tyrese Halliburton, to be honest, but I don't think that was a terrible prediction based on how LaMelo Ball is doing when I picked LaMelo Ball to win Rookie of the Year. And to be honest, I don't think anybody predicted Tyrese Halliburton to win Rookie of the Year. But so far, it looks like he's in the lead. So because I brought up Tyrese Halliburton, I also got to talk about the Pacers-Kings game, which unfortunately I didn't watch live, but I was watching the highlights of. I know you can't really get the whole story from highlights, but that's just what I was able to do because I didn't get to watch it live. And man, I wish I could have watched that live because that looked like a really exciting game. And Tyrese Halliburton did have another good game, scoring 12 points on 4 for 8 from the field off the bench. And how about Harrison Barnes with 30 points? And De'Aaron Fox didn't particularly shoot the ball very well, but he did make a few pretty impressive shots. And how about that poster at the end? Damn! Buddy Hield, 18 points on 6 for 11, all on 3-pointers. Nice. And Rashawn Holmes, 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 blocks. And I know blocks is not the best way to determine how well you're playing defense, but still, if you do block 6 shots, you're definitely doing something right, although he did also have 5 fouls. But hey, the Kings are actually not looking so bad this year. And one big criticism I had of Luke Walton last season was the fact that they have one of the fastest point guards in the league in De'Aaron Fox, and they play at such a slow pace, but this year they're actually 8th in pace, so good job on that. The fact that you're actually playing with a fast pace when you have that fast of a point guard. The Pacers are the 4th seed in the East, but they're only 6-4, which, okay, it's a winning record, but it's not like amazing or anything. And Victor Oladipo, he's slowly looking like he's back. He's been kind of up and down, but in this game he played pretty well. And Domantas Sabonis, he's definitely one of the most underrated players in the NBA right now. Even though he made an All-Star game last season, I still think that he's not getting his proper respect. And it's time that we start recognizing how good he really is. And in this game, 28 points and 11 rebounds. And Malcolm Brogdon also played really well for the Pacers, scoring 24 points and dishing out 9 assists. And Doug McDermott had a good game off the bench. So this is a game I really wish I got to watch live. I didn't think I'd ever say that about a Sacramento Kings game going into the season, but it just is what it is. Okay, so now I want to talk about the Toronto Raptors, who I was originally planning to make an entire video on, but then some other stuff came up, so now this section is going to be about the Toronto Raptors. We all thought that they would be around a 6th seed in the East this year, which I expected myself. At least that's what I expected. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm pretty sure most people had them as a lower seeded team in the East. But they're off to a 2-8 start and tied with the Pistons for worst record in the NBA right now. They only lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol, and we knew they would take a hit from that, but this big of a hit? I don't know if anyone expected that. And right now they're only 17th in offensive rating and 19th in defensive rating. They're only shooting 44% from the field as a team, which is 27th in the league. And Fred VanVleet, who honestly I was very convinced would go somewhere else for more money, but here he is back in Toronto and individually having a career year 10 games into the season, scoring 22 points per game on the best efficiency he's ever shot on. Now, Pascal Siakam, he's averaging 20 points per game, but he's definitely not as good as he was last season, and by the playoffs, he was definitely exposed as a guy who you cannot build a championship team around. He's just a really good number 2 guy in a championship team. OG Anunoby is averaging 2 more points per game than he was last season, but on worse efficiency. Kyle Lowry's putting up 19 points per game, but on worse efficiency than last season, and he shot miserably against Portland. Norman Powell is really struggling though. He was supposed to be in the running for a sixth man of the year, but he's looking nothing like that right now. Chris Boucher, though, he's played pretty well off the bench and scored 20 points in this game against the Blazers. But you know who's been horrible? Aaron Baines, only scoring 5 points per game while shooting just 37.8% from the field as a big man. He's been playing so bad that he went from starting the first 7 games to not even playing the last 3 due to a coach's decision. Although the last 2 games for the Raptors, they only lost by 1 point. Raptors fans, in case there are any watching this, maybe not, but you think that might be a sign of good things to come, or this team's just gonna suck? Let me know. But this game against Portland, they choked. Pascal Siakam had a triple-double though, and while OG Anunoby hasn't shot well from 3 this season, he was 4 for 6 against the Blazers. But the Raptors blew a 17-point lead in the 4th quarter. They shot just 8 for 20 in the 4th quarter. If you're not good at math, that's 40%. And towards the end, CJ McCollum made that go-ahead 17 pull-up, and Fred VanVleet was draped all over him. Well, maybe VanVleet could have gotten a better contest, although McCollum did release that pretty quick. But for the most part, that was really well defended, and that was just really good offense by CJ McCollum. And then Pascal missing the game winner from just 3 feet.
You missed it! How could you miss? It was 3 feet in front of you!
I know, that's got to be heartbreaking, right, Raptors fans? In case anyone who is a Raptors fan happens to be watching this. But yeah, it's been a rough start for the Raptors. 2 years removed from their championship, although I still stand by the fact that Kawhi should have stayed in Toronto because he had a good thing going. And I think that if he did stay, there's no doubt in my mind last year's finals would have been Raptors-Lakers. Lakers still would have won though, don't at me. And I don't think the Raptors would be so bad right now. But we'll also talk about the Portland Trailblazers. And here's something that I'm not sure everyone already knew, but CJ McCollum is actually having a better season than Damian Lillard right now. He's scoring more points per game on better efficiency. Now, don't get me wrong about Dame's efficiency. He may only be shooting 43% from the field, but he also still has a 60% true shooting percentage. That's very elite. That's a great true shooting percentage. So yes, Damian Lillard has been efficient, just CJ's been more efficient, both in terms of field goal percentage and true shooting percentage. And hey, Melo had a good game too. 20 points off the bench and scoring 13 per game off the bench, with the best true shooting percentage of his career so far. I'm happy for Melo to prove all the doubters wrong and let everyone know that he is still an NBA caliber player and he's just not the borderline superstar that he once was. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the latest games. But as for the Bulls, Coach Nick at B-Ball Breakdown, I'd check out his latest video about the Bulls, how their offense has been a lot more fluid with Billy Donovan. Now, I was never really high on Billy Donovan, to be honest, but we all know that anyone is better than Jim Boylan, and we're all seeing the difference. Although if the season were to end today, they still wouldn't make the play-in tournament, but they're still looking a lot better nonetheless. Their defense is worse right now, but still their offense is a lot more fluid. And I mean, if you're a Bulls fan, I guess that you're still expecting disappointment, and I understand. And to top it all off, my Lakers have the best record in the league at 8-3, and they're playing against the Rockets again, and hopefully they go 9-3. And hopefully the season doesn't have to be stopped at any time. I hope that the players can be more responsible. Yeah, Kyrie, don't be partying in Toronto with Drake, or just please don't go partying anywhere. This applies to every player, not just Kyrie, but I gotta mention Kyrie because Kyrie was just caught doing that, and I'm not okay with it at all. Under normal circumstances, okay, go ahead, have some fun. But right now, no, it's not a good time. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up. So please remember to like, and if you haven't yet, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I will see you next time.